And then we'll be, oh, we are now live. Well, hello everyone, and how are you? It is just such a lovely evening. It is so cool. I just love it when Florida gets cold. Uh, if you can call 71 cold. I am Reverend Janet Reynolds. Thank you. Welcome to my show, Insight with Blue Feather. I'm very glad to see everybody. I want you to know I have a special guest tonight, a very good friend of mine. I'll introduce her to you in one moment, but I just want you to know that Blue Feather, once more, is my guide. He's the one that gives me all of the information. And yes, I am a certified spirit medium and an intuitive counselor, when I can say it correctly. And if anybody would like to ask a question, please call 813-814-1601. You're more than welcome to do that. And then, of course, you can reach me with my email, janet@bluefeather.net. And then please go to my webpage, bluefeather.net, www.bluefeather.net. Now, I am going to introduce you to, or I am going to call Jennifer Lutz. She's a very, very good friend of mine, but she's also a former English teacher, and she holds a degree in interior decorating. And she also specializes in color healing, herbs, and essential oils for health. And her interests include writing, music, and exploring spirituality. And in 2021, she will become a lay minister for All Paths to God, which I think is very special. A religious science, new thought organization. So, Jennifer, how are you tonight?
Hi, I'm very well, and thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's so easy. All I had to do was ask you, and you said yes.
Okay,
So
I'm a bit nervous.
it's
Yes.
okay. It's only allowed for about a half of a minute, and then
Oh,
after that, no more.
okay.
Okay. So please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been in the metaphysical field for a very long time, since I was a tiny child. And what spurred me into the field was a childhood trauma.
Mhm.
And but once this trauma took place and started me on my metaphysical journey, it was very easy to pick up books and read. And I will tell you the story about my journey in a minute.
Okay. That sounds like a good idea because all of us have journeys one way or another, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Yeah. So I am listening, girl. So let me do it this way. How did you begin your spiritual metaphysical journey?
Okay. I when I tell the story, I like to start off telling people that when I was 9 years old, I woke up. I had been sleeping in my cocoon for 4 years. Now, before that, I can remember very little, but do remember two of us, identical twins, and I remember being happy. Just before we were 5 years old, my identical twin died. It was a tragic accident, and I saw it happen. So at that age, at that very vulnerable age, it certainly had an impact. Now, I was the one who ran up the driveway to report it to the family, while those involved rushed her to the hospital. She crawled under the wheel of a truck. Why she did that, I have no idea, but the guilt gets carried. through a lifetime, even though I know I was not responsible. Um, so while everything was being taken care of, I found myself comforting my grandmother. And I went ahead, I just kind of disappeared. I just kind of faded away mentally. So for 4 years, I went um, through the physical life of living, but I really wasn't there mentally.
Mhm.
Now, at 9 years old, that particular summer, I came out of this fog, and I remember looking down at my hands and and touching my wrists and saying, "I'm alive. I'm I'm alive." So something profound had happened. I had awakened. I knew right away that my twin sister was fine. She was just over there, that all was well with the world, and that there were two angels holding me up, one on either side of me. And those angels stayed with me until I was around 13 years old, and they slowly had started to fade away. I did not think of them until years later
Mm.
when I decided to write this story. But I knew right away that all was well with the world. So I started asking questions. What happens when we die? Do we cease to exist? Do we go on? Do we go someplace? I knew in my heart that my twin was not dead. She was someplace else. And my dear grandmother started handing me books. She handed me books by Edgar Casey, Gina Sermonara, and Ruth Montgomery. These were the first authors that I read.
Ruth Montgomery. I've read a lot of Ruth Montgomery's books,
Yes,
and she really is. She's an amazing writer. Not saying Edgar Casey isn't, because of course he is, but Ruth Montgomery is very good.
yes. Well, at 9 years old, Edgar Casey was perhaps a little bit over my head with his language, but with Ruth, Janet, it was like she was sitting on the couch beside me, telling me a story and telling me about life after
Mm-hmm.
death.
Mm-hmm.
And these were the questions. Um, it I was one of those metaphysical students who had to read about everything. I had to go into TM. I had to study past lives and how they relate to future lives. I Every subject that came along, I had categorized and I studied for a while.
But don't you think that was a good thing for
It
you?
was a very, very good thing. It was all part of this journey. What I didn't realize is, remember in the 80s and 90s, everybody was looking for themselves and they're saying, what am I here for? What is my purpose? That's what you
Right.
basically went to a psychic to ask is, what is my purpose? Well, it finally dawned on me a number of years ago that my purpose was looking to find out the truth of our existence as human beings
Mhm.
on this planet. Uh, this is what I found I had studied all our lives. Are we just human beings here, or are we spiritual beings having the human experience? And if we're having that, where do we come from? And does our exploring mean anything?
I think to explore is a very, very good idea. And I have done an extreme amount of exploring due to the fact that I moved here to Florida from DC, Maryland 40 years ago.
Mhm.
And that was when I had a teacher plus a psychic tell me, or a spirit medium tell me I needed to enhance my abilities. And with that being said, that's what I started doing. So all of us are extremely psychic. We
Yes,
just we need to accept that, and we need to believe and trust anything that we see, feel, or hear. So yes.
it's been a marvelous journey. It really has. And what one of the things I think we're here for is to be, of course, to raise our own consciousness. By
Mm-hmm.
raising our consciousness and becoming a more loving person, we help the whole planet. Even if we're not famous, we don't have to be. By raising our consciousness, we help raise the consciousness of people around us.
There are many, Jennifer, that need that, especially at present, with
Yes,
all that is going on. Those of us who are in the metaphysical and or spiritual world can help many people because of the energy being so negative, as I see it. So yes, you're very correct in what you're saying. So what you have experienced as a child that has taken you into a grown adult and has helped you to study and know more about the spiritual world is a blessing. But what prompted you to write the book? And please tell us the title. Please show us the book. And
yes,
then I will let you know my personal feelings about the book because I read it and
good.
I thought it was great. But please, what prompted you to write your book? And what is the title of the book?
Okay. The title of the book is, let's see if I can, whoops,
You're
how do
right.
I,
You're right
yeah,
there.
The
Right there.
Twinless Twin.
Yeah, the twinless twin. There you go.
Yes,
It's a
yes.
beautiful, beautiful cover.
Thank you. And it's a tale of bereavement and enlightenment for those who have lost their twins or for those who have lost somebody very, very close to them.
Right.
It is, I'm taking this right from the back, but it is a magical tale of what happens when one twin dies and what the remaining twin, um, what happens with the remaining twin. And what I think happened to me to write about a magical journey to heaven where they see where her twin is going to be living and what the purpose of heaven is, what our purpose on earth is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and people can get in touch with me through the web, not the website, but they can write to me at author J.H. Lutz at gmail.com. Do you
Spell
want,
Lutz. Spell
yeah,
Lutz.
Lutz.
Okay.
So author J.H. Lutz at
Mm-hmm.
gmail.com.
Okay.
And at the end of the book, I did put in, let's see if you can see this. It
Yes,
is
I
a
can.
picture of the two of us. Let's see.
And that is
There.
a
Yeah.
beautiful. It is a beautiful picture. So let
Thanks.
me say this to you about your book, Jennifer, because I sat and read it, and I just find it so special. The angels that looked out for you in the process of what you were going through. And not only that, your description of the other side, which helps because a lot of people don't. Of course, we all have a different belief structure,
Yes.
but to have called it heaven and to have said that we sign up for a lot of this, a lot of what we're doing here, I think was very special. And my grandson, God love his heart, is 12 years old. And the past couple months, he's been calling me from Spain. They live in Spain, asking me if I believe in heaven.
Oh,
And he has let me know that his friends have told him there is no heaven.
Oh,
and I have led him to believe the truth as I see it. Yes, Joshua, there is a heaven, not to worry. And I tell him, just look up at the clouds, and that right behind those clouds, there is heaven. So what I have done
yeah.
is I shipped the book to him in Spain to read the other day.
Thank you.
I know, but I think
Very nice.
it was a beautiful story the way that it's laid out. It's very nice, Jennifer. It really is. And
Thank
this will
you.
help him. This will definitely help him to understand that there truly is a heaven in our way of thinking or my way of thinking.
Yes. Well, I thought using the word heaven would be easier than saying fifth dimension or
Mhm,
some other realm. I was trying to keep the language as understandable as I could.
mhm,
What happened to prompt the book was a move we were making back in 97. We were moving from Massachusetts down to Huntsville, Alabama. My husband got a transfer in his job, and several things had happened in the family. My brother was going through a nasty divorce, had a very bad accident, ended up in the hospital for an 8-hour operation. Um, the dog had died the year before. The cat we had just had to put down our cat, our dear cat, and our dear daughter was off college. I felt like everything was being taken away from me. And all of a sudden, this this secret, and it wasn't really a secret. The family, we talked about it, but not too much. But it came bubbling up inside of me, this story. And I I started taking a writing course in Huntsville, and somebody turned to me and said, "You know, there's a magazine out there called Twins World." She gave me the website and she said, "Why don't you write your story?" And the editor at the time, now remember, this was way back around 97, 2000. Um, the editor of the magazine was a Dr. Raymond Grant, and there was an area where you could write your story down and send it via email. So I
mhm,
did. And 2 days later, he didn't answer my email. He called me up on the phone and he said, "You have got to finish your story." And I said, "What do you mean?" "The story of my twin's death goes to the point where she dies. But the 4 years that I was gone, I had no idea what happened, except that I came out of that experience with these wonderful, wonderful feelings." So Dr. Brandt said, "You have got to sit down and open your heart and just let the story come out." And this is the story that came out, the story of the twinless twin and what happens when you die, where you go.
mhm. And that's important because I'm sure that we all have our own views on where we go. I'm
Yes,
sure if you ask my son, of course, he doesn't believe in a heaven. So see, he has his own thoughts, and
yes,
but I definitely do believe in a heaven. I don't believe in a hell, but I
no,
believe in a heaven, and I think that sometimes it's important for us to know, well, where do we go when we're finished here?
mm-hmm,
It's even I sometimes think about, because I'm getting older, of course, I could just leave. I could
yes.
I could just leave. And then I think, well, where will I go?
I have always believed, and before this story bubbled up inside of me, and before I really did a lot of reading, I can remember standing outside on the playground at school, being around 8 years old, and feeling this connection, this oneness with every living thing around me. So I think that heaven or the fifth dimension is our real home.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as spiritual beings, this is the learning planet.
Mm-hmm.
Mother Earth is our school. We're sent away to boarding school, you know, and once we graduate, we go home, we regroup, we decide, okay, I learned this, but I didn't really learn that. So, what do I want to learn my next time around? What kind of adventure do I want?
Mm-hmm.
And I think through guides and others that you have um, been on planet Earth with, um, I think you're in a pod group up what we want to learn and what we don't want to learn this time around and what kinds of adventures. And I believe that way we our spiritual awareness grows and grows and expands. And I do believe that that's what we're here for, is to expand our spirituality.
That's definitely what it's about. We sign a contract. We come in here to experience.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what I say to that is, I think that's beautiful. But when I leave the earth plane and I go back, I am going to make an appointment and sit down with him and let him
Yeah.
know what I really feel about what I have learned on the earth plane.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to let them know it is open for discussion.
It's funny. I've always believed my elementary school class reincarnated together from Atlantis, from some last experience. And for some reason, I've just always felt that we knew each other before, and we decided to experience that again.
Well, I agree with you. You know, Jennifer, in all honesty, I sincerely believe that the people that we connect with are
Hmm.
people that we have had a past life with. And
Yes.
the other thing that I believe, because I have traveled so much and I often think about that, but every country that I have traveled in is a country that I have had a past life in. And I sincerely believe that. I really do.
Yes.
Because, because I don't think we would have an interest, because there's a lot of countries that I haven't been in,
Yes.
right? But
Yes.
the ones that I have, and I have many, many friends in England, and I have friends in Spain,
Yeah.
and I think it's beautiful because we do we do reincarnate. I sincerely believe in that.
Yes. And I got the chills when you said that.
Oh, God love your
Yeah.
heart. That's good.
Yeah. That's
So
why I sit up and take notice.
that's good. See. So, but the biggest place or the best place or the one that really does a lot for me is Glastonbury in England, and then Egypt.
Funny you should say that.
Why?
Yeah,
Why?
because those are the very same places that I feel such a connection to. Ha-
Yeah.
yes,
Well, I've
yeah,
been to Glastonbury 5 times. So now what do you think? Do you think there's a connection there?
I do. Yes, I do. We'll have
I
to discuss that.
Oh gosh, yes, because I just went with my British friend. I think it's been 2 years, maybe 3 years ago, and we went right back to Glastonbury. And I made her promise me that we would do that when I came over, and it took us 3 hours to get there. So she kept her promise, and we did it. But Glastonbury, I'm more at home there than you can ever imagine. But we'll talk about that at another
Yes,
time. So now
yes.
let me ask you this. Was there a purpose for getting the book published?
Okay, my purpose in getting this little book published was to get the story, not the story of the death, but the story of what happened afterwards, to get the message that we do not die. We go on and on and on, just expanding ourselves, learning and growing.
Mhm.
And I wanted people who have lost somebody so special to them that they are sad all the time. I want them to understand that there is no death,
Mhm.
that
And
we
I think
do
that,
live on.
yes, I think that that's beautiful. And of course there are a lot of people that do not agree or understand, but everything is for a reason, for a purpose, and doesn't make say that it's easy, because sometimes it's not easy.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that it's good. So now, let me ask you this: how long have you been in the metaphysical field? 1 year, 2 years?
Okay, let me think now. Because I'm 70 and I started on my journey at 9.
Oh my God!
So
So I would say that's quite a while.
61 years. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm only 39, so.
Well, yes, me too. Yes.
But I have been in the metaphysical field, spiritual field for a good 30 years, or I could say 38 really, because I really got into it when I moved here to Tampa, and I've
Hmm.
been in Tampa for 40, going into 41 years.
Wow.
So, where do you feel, or what do you, how do you think about where this has led you as being in the metaphysical and or the spiritual field?
I am so at home in this field. I can't imagine being anyplace else. I've often thought that if my high school classes and my college classes were metaphysical, I'd have aced the whole thing. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'd have had a graduate degree. You
Mm-hmm.
know, things did not perk my interest, even as a young girl. If you gave me something metaphysical, if we were going to talk about crystals, or if we were going to talk about life after death, I would have listened and learned, and school was boring for me.
Oh,
So,
sure. I'm
yeah,
sure. So, but the good thing is you did learn a lot in school and
yeah,
out of school. And
yes,
that's what's important. I never did go to college, but I did graduate 12th grade. But with all of the studying that I have done in my metaphysical world or my spiritual world, all of the degrees that I hold, I feel like I've gone to college.
you have, like, you know, experience is everything. What we've learned, it doesn't have to say college. It doesn't have to be a degree in front of you. We are constantly learning,
I
and
know.
I love it.
Yeah.
And so many people, I'm sure, would be experts in their field if there was some degree to give out. But I don't think we need it.
No, no, but do you know, in all honesty, in some of the classes that I have taken in spirituality, I do have a degree.
Oh, yes, yes, because they do.
It's on paper,
Yes,
and it's something that I'm sincerely proud of. And I
yes,
think about all of the years that I have studied Camp Chesterfield, Lilydale,
yeah,
even going to the Arthur Finley Foundation in college in England.
yes,
I have learned so much, and so have you, right?
yes. And we'll continue to learn. I adore taking classes,
Yes,
you know,
they're good. They're good for us.
absorbing.
Well, I haven't taken any in quite a few years, but that's okay. I feel like I've learned quite a bit. So now where has this all led you?
Well, you mean besides this book?
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure.
How about personally, where has it led you?
Well, it led me to the ministry. Again, this oneness that I felt connected, um, that I felt the connection to. I had this as a child, And I went to church. I grew up in New England in a nice little congregational church, but they couldn't really answer all my questions. I went with my friends to some went to synagogue, some went to Catholic church. Um, so I had some experiences there. I did some reading on Eastern philosophy. Um, I have always loved being in those holy places, no
Hmm.
matter what church, synagogue, what building I was in. If it had been holy, it gave me wonderful feelings inside. But I had to find out these answers. This oneness connection brought me to religious science, which accepts everybody, but they believe in working together. They believe in that we are all one. And our motto at our church is if you want the world to be a better place, be a better person in it. And we really, really try to walk that talk, open our hearts.
Right, right. And that sometimes isn't always easy, but yes,
Yeah.
to open up our hearts. Because sometimes people aren't always nice.
No,
But
yes.
yeah.
And we are in chaotic times right now.
Oh, we are, we
Yeah.
are.
But it on the positive side, it's showing us what we don't want and what we do want. And
Mhm.
we do want that world that is connected.
Yes. And it's a good point, well stressed, Jennifer, what we want or what we don't want. And I think God knows, as I say it, is what's going on around us right now. It isn't anything that I would like. But we just have to wait. I say it's
Yeah.
TBC, to be continued, and
Yes.
see, because something that's not good always turns into something that is good. It takes
Mhm.
something bad to make a good thing,
Yes.
or to make changes, or to make us see things. So, or to see things differently is what I should say. So, but do you believe there is a soul connection to your journey?
Oh, yeah. Very, very much so. Um, and I'm sure my sister has a lot to do with it. Um, that I believe we came in knowing this was going to happen, but perhaps I couldn't remember, and that's why it was such a shock.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe it was to kick me on the spiritual journey, because I've been told, and I do have that feeling that I left that journey in other lives and did not get as far as I wanted to get.
Mm-hmm.
So I have really thrown myself into it this time around.
Oh, okay. So that's good. So where you didn't throw yourself into it, now you have thrown yourself into it, and
Yes,
this is where it has led you. So it's done a good thing for you.
I think it has.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know what? That's what's important. It's how you see it,
Okay. Yeah.
right? Wouldn't you
Yes, it
say?
is.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because everybody has different views, but it's always good if we can see ourselves doing what we're doing.
Yes.
And I know you do see what you are doing. So I want you to tell everybody once more for me, please, the name of your book. Show it to them.
Okay. It's called The Twinless Twin, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a tale of bereavement and enlightenment
Mm-hmm.
for those who have lost their twins
Mm-hmm.
or someone very, very close to them. And they can reach me at author J.H. Lutz at gmail.com.
Oh, good. She did it for you. In
Oh,
other words,
nice.
up front, it's on the, that's beautiful, Cece. So,
Thank you.
and she spelled your name right. So,
Yes.
well, Jennifer, you have come a long way, girl, don't you think?
Yes, I really do. And I'm just thoroughly thrilled. Every day when I get up, I'm just absolutely thrilled to be here. Life is very precious.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, didn't you do a CD? Tell us about the CD.
Yes, as a matter of fact, let's see. I did do a CD. My daughter recorded it. My daughter does audio work, and we do plan to update the CD so that it will also be available soon.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
that's good to know. Okay. Well, I know sending it to my grandson, as in your book, will be something that he will cherish. I do know that. God love his heart.
Thank
So,
you.
but I'm really glad that you came tonight. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome. So, is there anything else that you can throw in? We got about 3 more minutes. So, is there anything else you'd like to tell us?
I can't think of a thing, really.
I feel we've covered quite a bit.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you so much. And it is, you know, it's just so wonderful to have these video chats and and stations and that we can do all this with.
I know. And the other thing with things being the way that they are, and we can't communicate physically together,
Yes.
Zoom is a very powerful video station. Is that, can we
Hmm.
say that? Is that correct?
Yes.
And I mean, that has helped to pull a lot of people together. It's not the same thing as, us sitting close to one another, but it's the next best thing to where we can all see one another on the screen as
It
I see you, but
I
it's brings in more people at one time.
it does.
And
Yeah.
I understand for Thanksgiving, because you do need to pay some money on Zoom if you want many people, more than 10, I think. And so they're dropping the fees for the day of Thanksgiving so that everybody they can see family.
Nice.
So I think that that's a beautiful thing that they're doing that. It takes giving. It does. Instead
Yes.
of taking, it's better to give. And then somewhere along the line, they're going to give to us back.
Yes. Yes.
So,
I agree.
yeah, so, well, thank you, dear. I really appreciate you being here. And I just want to say to you to have a good evening. And
Thank you.
what we're going to do, and we're going to call Cece back in.
Okay. Okay.
We only got about 2 minutes left, I
Yeah.
think, to
Yeah.
the.
Yeah. Love you
Hello.
and namaste.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Cece,
Yeah, I do have a couple questions uh,
Yes.
for Jennifer. Where do we find your book? Where can we get it at?
Amazon.com. And
Okay.
you can leave a review at the end. Guess what? It's also at Walmart.com
Oh,
and Barnes and Noble.
that's terrific. Yeah,
Yes.
that's terrific.
oh, I think that's great.
Yeah, that is
See,
great.
It's
that was a
very exciting.
that was a good question, Cece.
Thank
Yes, and thank you. Yeah.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, and so another question I had is, what if someone is just like, doing just like they haven't really found their purpose. They're just living through life. They're going to work, they're coming home. What would you say to those individuals? Because like you had this experience that really kind of pushed you to the
It-
other edge and brought in some knowledge for you. But these individuals are just going about life. So
yes. And if they feel like they're not going anyplace, they just might pick up some books and start reading. Um, I really do believe it's a spiritual journey we're on, but so many of us don't understand that we're just going through the physicality of living. So picking up beautiful spiritual books.
That's my buddy. Did you see
Yeah.
my buddy?
Yes, I did.
But so then my other question is does everyone here on this planet, on Earth here, through this existence, are we all supposed to have a purpose in life, or are some of us supposed to maybe assist those that are on the journey of a purpose?
That would be their purpose.
Yeah.
Each one of us comes here with an agenda. So whatever is on that agenda is the purpose in life. And you can have antagonists and protagonists,
Yeah.
But everybody is very important here. And, you don't have to go through your life. It could be just a quiet physical life where you're loved.
Yeah. You're freezing up sometimes. It's unfortunate, but yeah, no, I agree with that. And I feel that, for my own self, I think that I definitely have a purpose. And I do feel that those that I have met within my life are ones that are kind of helping me on that journey of that awakening of what I've had to experience. And for me, it was going through, a divorce and realizing that there's more to my life than just being a wife to someone.
Yeah.
There's something else there for me. And each person has opened that door, to kind of lead me through that. So I just wonder that I think that we, like you said, I do believe we all have something in our lives that there's a reason for it, and that maybe it's just to be there for someone as you're passing through.
Yes, and Stacey, it could be just okay, you came together with the man that was your husband to finish up old business.
Well, we did. It's completed.
Now what you have to do is find somebody for new business.
That's right.
That's right. Moving on. No, I'm kidding. No, I just thought it was funny, kind of a punchline. But yeah, no, I agree with that. I do think that, people come into what's that old saying, someone comes into your life for a reason, season, or there's like 3 different things. But I totally get that. And I am sorry that experience, that you had to endure that, losing someone so close, but it's very rewarding for all of us that you have shared your experience and the profoundness of the experience, the journey afterwards. So I want to thank you.
If I was to compare it to something, I would call that those 4 years, it was like a near-death experience, because mentally I was stuff, that spurred me on to other education.
Yeah.
And another thing that we can say for some of the bad experiences with the individuals that we've had that bad experience with, that we couldn't be who we are if they hadn't been who they were.
Absolutely.
So
that's right.
That is what has made us who we are. So
that is very, very true.
So it's called, oh, well, this is it. What you see is what you get.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, it is true. It is true. I think sometimes some of the negative things that happen in our lives is what kind of spurs our journey going forward and opens our eyes to other opportunities, other ways of looking at things.
Yes.
So this allowed you, what happened to you, it allowed you to stop for a minute and say, let me look at this differently. Let me find more information about it. Let me get more educated. And so that's not a bad thing for us to be able to,
it's a good thing.
Yeah. For sure.
I've never run into somebody who had an experience like me. And so I had to search on my own to find answers. I couldn't sit with somebody and say, hey, did this happen to you? And oh yes, and this is what I did. It was just all so singular.
Mhm,
Hmm.
mhm.
Yeah.
But good came out of it,
It
so
did. I
that's
mean,
what counts.
yes.
Well, I guess, if we think about it in the singular way, in the singular experience, all of our lives are singular, even though we embrace other people, we touch other
Hmm.
people's lives, they touch our lives, but it is all a singular motion that we're moving forward on
It
through.
is.
And
Even identical twins
hmm
are different
Yes.
yeah.
inside.
Yeah, so I can see that. I could definitely see that. Very interesting and very enlightening. And this was a great
Thank you.
show. And thank you for spending the time here with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was great. So again, everyone, you can email her at author Lutz, Lutz at gmail.com. And again, I do apologize, but I was wondering, do I have your Jennifer, do I have your name correct? I thought it was, is it Hill, right?
That's my maiden name. It,
Oh,
um, so that's why it's J.H. Lutz. It's Jennifer H. Lutz,
okay.
Lutz.
Jennifer H.
So yes.
Okay.
So Hills is my maiden name. Of
Okay.
course.
And then we want to make sure everyone again knows the book. It's The Twinless Twin, and it's really an important book for anyone that is suffering a loss and,
Yeah.
and wants a better understanding. So
It's
Yeah.
a very good book. I'm
Thank
sure my
you.
grandson will enjoy it.
mhm.
It is categorized under family grief and healing. So
Yes. Good. So thank you.
It was a hard book to write, but a very important one. So thank
yeah,
you.
it was. Yeah, I kept her secret in my heart for many, many years. I couldn't even say her name out loud. I couldn't. It took great courage to talk about, to actually say Georgia out loud, to say her name. So,
Bless your heart.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. We appreciate it. So before we go, I want everyone to know again, you're listening to the Insight with Blue Feather show with our wonderful host here, Reverend Janet M. Reynolds. She's a psychic medium, and you can reach her at bluefeather.net. That's BLUEFEATHER.net. Please go there and contact her. You can get a reading. If you want her phone number, of course, all you have to call is 813-361-2648. Again, it's 813-361-2648. And if you tell her you heard her on the show, she'll give you a discount definitely for the reading. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Cece.
You're quite welcome. All right, guys, we're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network TV. We're a radio, TV, and podcast station. We're the #1 internet talk network, and we're so proud of having you all with us tonight. So thank you so much. I hope you guys will catch Janet next time. She's a bi-weekly show, so the next time around, we're actually going to be on Thanksgiving, so we will not be having a show. But then the future shows will just follow a suit as bi-weekly. So
Right.
thank you so much.
And I have a guest already.
All right. That's great. I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
Thank you again, Jennifer. We
Thank
appreciate
you very much.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Jennifer.
it's a very important book that you wrote. So we hope that everyone will reach out for it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.